Free agency is right around the corner, and so today we are talking through the Broncos' needs and also who the top options are in free agency. It should be a big show, talking Devin Lloyd and Breece Hall and all those guys. So stay tuned. We're going to get started in about 30 seconds. This is the DNVR Broncos Podcast, live from the Toyota Lounge, which is an awesome place. Shout out to Toyota.
I love the Toyota
You guys
Lounge.
all in the Toyota chat. And we've got a lot to talk about today. No Zach. He has an appointment.
All
right. I'm Henry Chisholm. That's Ryan Koenigsberg. Yaya producing today. How's it going?
It's going great. We're watching a little Canada, Czech Republic hockey over here. And
for those listening later, there's 3.5 minutes left.
yeah, so things are and Canada just tied it.
Oh boy.
Didn't even seem like a good goal. Anyways,
You're right. Nobody was in the picture when I looked up.
yeah, you're blocked by the lights.
Right, which is also important to note because so when they are shooting on the Canadian goal, the goal is literally right behind our light. So if I'm blinking a lot during the show, it's because I can't really see because I've been looking into the light.
All right.
Yep. So we're talking needs today in the first half. Second half, we'll talk free agents and who could fit those needs.
Okay.
I think
Well, and I think this is a good conversation to have a day after we talk draft because
right.
sometimes it feels like you got to fix everything in the draft, and
If you're a good team, you have to fix nothing in the draft. You have to fix your 2027 problems in this year's draft.
well, and then the other thing is I think it's easy to sometimes think that you're going to fix everything in free agency, or if you do fix something in free agency, then you can't draft that. But a lot of times teams will double up on stuff.
Yep.
So we'll get a look at these needs and see maybe where the easiest ones to fix in free agency
Yep.
from a monetary standpoint.
Yep.
And then we'll have a better picture of maybe what we should look at for the Broncos in the draft.
Yeah. And as we go through and try to figure out like what are the biggest needs for the Broncos, I think we say we expect all the restricted free agents back.
Yes.
So when we talk about needs, I think we could start at tight end because it's an interesting one. There are some positions where you have an obvious need, like linebacker, obvious need, because you only have Dre Greenlaw, you lost Renard, you lost Singleton, you need a starter. Massive need, maybe the biggest on the team.
Although Mike Kliss making it sound like the Broncos are going to push pretty hard to bring back Alex Singleton.
But as of today,
Yes.
with no Alex Singleton, I consider that a big need until it actually happens. Whereas you look at like cornerback, no need because you're just kind of set. And so I think tight end is one that's right in the middle. And I think can kind of skew up or skew down because as of right now, obviously you have Evan Engram and you have a decision to be made on his contract, but Adam Trautman's a free agent. And he was kind of the glue guy who was kind of filling everything together because Evan's a receiver. You've got Nate Adkins, who's a blocker. Then Lucas Kroll, who was hurt a bunch of the year, didn't really see him. But he's a restricted free agent. Nate's a restricted free agent. So as it stands right now, your tight ends are Caleb Lohner, who's still around, Evan Engram, Nate Adkins, and Lucas Kroll. And to me, that's a big need.
It's one of those things, though, where I just keep saying it, and I'll probably say it until the time ever comes that Bo Nix has, like a 800-yard tight end. I don't know if Bo Nix likes throwing to tight ends. And therefore, I consider it a need in the sense that you can always upgrade. But at the same time, I don't know if it's a position where you want to invest heavily because I don't know if you're going to get the returns.
Yeah. I think you have to, though. Like, I think you can't be... I love Nate Adkins. Nate Adkins can't be on the field for 70% of your snaps on a team like this because it's just too easy to get an upgrade. Like, at the very least, you go get an Adam Trautman or something and bring that back. The decision for Evan Engram is whether you want to save, call it $6.5 million this year. And then he's off the books next year regardless. Although you would have to pay $2.6 million in dead cap next year if you keep him. So really, it's a total savings of $8.5 million. So we'll call it $9 million.
Okay.
So it's a $9 million savings if you keep Evan Engram, and that's kind of the first decision that you have to make at tight end. I don't know what you do because the Broncos just refuse to use Evan Engram, and I don't know what that's about. Like
use him on the field?
Like they don't put him on the field. He was 47th in the NFL in snaps last year among tight ends.
Wow.
Yeah, and he only missed one game. So like there are a bunch of guys in front of him or behind him who would be higher had they just stayed healthy. So when you look at the combination of all that, it just doesn't make sense. But when he's on the field, he's one of 13 tight ends who have more receiving yards than snaps played. So like more receiving yards per snap. So there's like an efficiency there. But again, if you're not going to put him on the field, can you really justify spending an extra $9 million to keep him on the team?
Yeah, and I think that's going to come down to how Sean Payton feels about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he brought him here with the idea that he was going to be a joker.
Mm-hmm.
That never materialized. And I'm curious whether or not that had something to do with Evan or if it had more to do with Sean and not feeling like he was the matchup that he was looking for. And I think there's a decent chance that Sean just says, like, yeah, that wasn't what I was expecting. Let's move on.
The tough part is, so you have the drops in there. But again, other than that, when you put him on the field, he paid off in a top 10 kind of way for you. It's just that you refuse to put him on the field. And if you're not planning on changing that, and the other tough part is that with Sean, he's all about picking personnel that matches what you're trying to do, which makes sense. Like you want to run the football, you need somebody to block. Who do you put out there? You put the best guy for the job on the field for that play. But it means that this offense just becomes way too predictable. If you're the defense, you know exactly what the offense is going to do based on who's out there. And for Evan Engram, for example, when Evan Engram was on the field last year, you threw the ball 82% of the time. You ran the ball 18% of the time.
Yeah.
And part of that is because you obviously feel like you're not going to be able to run the ball well with Evan out there blocking. But it just hurts your offense if you're telling the defense what you're going to do before the play even begins. And so I think that's what it's really going to come down to is are the Broncos willing to use Evan on run plays more? Because that's where there's room to just add to that snap total, which is like it's insanely low. Like you compare him to like Noah Fant spent 3 years with the Broncos. Least productive year was his rookie year, 562 yards. Evan Engram this year, 461.
I know.
Greg Dulcich is a rookie, 411. So like almost had Evan Engram production, but only played in 10 games because of the injuries. And you brought Evan Engram in to be like 1,000-yard receiver.
Totally.
Meanwhile, he's not even producing like rookie Greg Dulcich or rookie Noah Fant. But then you flip it around and say, well, even in playing 10 games, Greg Dulcich was on the field for more snaps than Evan Engram was this year because they just refused to play him. So it's a weird thing where I get not wanting to run the ball when he's on the field or taking him off, but everything gets opened up if you're willing to use him in those situations.
Yeah. Star that comment from Keith for later. I know. It comes down to Sean Payton.
Right.
That's where I just say, like, he might just come out and be like, yeah, he wasn't who I thought he was. Let's move on. Or he might be like, oh, I did a bad job of using him. We could do better. He could still be an 800-yard receiver.
Yeah. Because if you literally just put him on the field, the numbers would say he is as productive as a top 10 tight end. But you just don't put him on the field.
And he had some big moments, big catches for this team.
Yeah.
You know, like the big catch and run against the Commanders in overtime.
Totally.
Right? Is that an overtime?
I think that one was. Yeah. But again, it's tough for Bo Nix to build any chemistry with him when he's on the field 40% of the time. Like, you can't go into a play or into a drive thinking like, okay, I think Evan's got the matchup here. I'm going to feed Evan, because odds are on any given play, he's not even going to be out there, which is so different than any other quarterback who gets to say like, oh, Trey McBride leads the NFL in snaps, leads the NFL in receiving yards. It makes sense. And if you're a quarterback with that as your tight end, you can say, hey, I think if I get him the ball, things are going to go well. You just can't bank on those things. It's a waste.
It also goes back to my problem with the Broncos having too many good options at receiver / tight end. no one's getting a chance to really like blossom because no one is like, I don't know. There's no one dominating, I guess. And so it's just like, we're going to keep cycling these guys in and out and see who's going to kind of finally pop. Mm-hmm. Whereas like Trey McBride is a dominant player. So of course you just keep putting him out there and you keep feeding him and good things happen.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's just tough. Like, I don't know what you do. They basically play him like a receiver, but they refuse to give him enough touches to be a receiver. Like, it's a weird spot.
But that's like what everyone says about Marvin Mims. Doesn't get enough touches. Totally. Doesn't get enough options.
With the kicker being, though, that at this point, like, if Evan Ingram's on the field, you probably have 3 receivers on the field. And him essentially being a 4th receiver. Yeah. And so in those situations, you get to choose 3 of Court, Marvin, Troy, and Pat. So it's kind of just like 3 guys for 4 spots there with Evan out there as well. And so like I don't think that in those passing situations there's a crunch for opportunities. It's my biggest complaint with the Sean Payton offense overall is that you just have too many tells. Like, it's so obvious what you're going to do based on who the personnel is. You just have to eat your vegetables. Like, it's the same reason why passing plays are far more efficient than running plays. But you have to run the ball 40% of the time. Otherwise, the defense just knows exactly what you're going to do and can prepare for it and stop for it. And the Broncos just, I don't know what it is, but on every single play, Sean chooses the best personnel for that play. But in doing that, tells the defense. And so maybe with Davis Webb potentially having more control, maybe he has like a moment where he realizes this isn't the best approach. But for Evan Engram to work, I think you just have to accept that you need him on the field on plays where you're running the football. Otherwise, when he's out there, the passing game is just going to look ugly. And the run game also is going to look ugly because he doesn't block well. So that's the first part. And I think maybe we spent too much time on that, but I do think that is kind of the first big piece when you figure out what you do at tight end. Because if you're really only going to be playing Evan Engram 40% of the snaps, you've got 60% of the snaps easy for another tight end. And on top of that, you have plenty of two tight end formations where you might be saying, actually, instead of 60%, you're actually talking like there's 80% of snaps available for a guy who's able to block and catch the football. Yeah. And that's why I think it's a massive need. Like, this is a guy where you have room in the offense to have him on the field that much, so much more than any other receiver that you could go get, more than any running back you would go get. And that's why, to me, I think tight end is just a massive opportunity to go get a good football player.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's tight end.
God, what a winner.
Oh, what happened?
Canada won.
But who scored?
93? I have no idea who it is.
Mitch Marner.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Backhand, top shelf.
Yeah. Between like 3 people too.
Damn, I hate seeing Marty Nate just that sad.
I know, me too. At least we don't have to see Kale and Taves and McCarr that sad. From there, offensive needs. I think that's one of the big ones. Quarterback, you're obviously fine. Offensive line, you're fine. Your depth is good on top of having all your starters. So the 2 others are receiver and running back. And I think running back is a bigger need than receiver just because you have the guys to do the job at receiver. It's just whether you want to go add a star to the group. Running back, meanwhile, RJ is going to take 50% of the snaps. So you have 50% of the snaps available. And right now you've got Jaleel on the roster, or restricted free agent, so we're going to count him. And you've also got Deuce Vaughn and Tyler Bidet, and one more, Cody Schrader, nice. The other guy. There we go, from Missouri. We'll dig into receiver and running back after the break.
Taco Bell, man. Taco Bell has officially entered the chicken game, and they've brought back the next level chicken nuggets. And I actually had these the other day, and I'm a big Taco Bell guy. Everyone knows that.
You are.
But I went in with a little bit of skepticism. Mm-hmm. Like a little bit of maybe I should be saying, like, stay in your own lane, Taco Bell.
Right.
And then I had a bite, and I was like, nope, get in this lane, Taco Bell.
They fit in every lane.
They're just switching lanes seamlessly.
Yes.
And these chicken nuggets are awesome. You can't say enough about them. They're crunchy because they have this little tortilla chip breading on the outside. Then I had this Diablo ranch sauce with them, which was absolutely fantastic. So check it out. Go over there, have some of that Hidden Valley Diablo Ranch dipping sauce. And don't forget to add one of the new menus from Taco Bell's Luxe Value Menu with 10 items for $3 or under. The Luxe Value Menu at Taco Bell delivers bold, irresistible flavor and crave-worthy items at unbelievable prices. Nobody delivers everyday value and supports your hometown teams like Taco Bell. Live Moss at Taco Bell.
Also want to give a shout out to our friends over at Common Spirit Health. They're more than just hospitals and clinics. They've got a team of passionate and expert caregivers who are dedicated to your well-being, and they're woven into the very fabric of your community. So they've got everything you could be looking for, whether it's preventative care or advanced surgical solutions. They've got skilled physicians and caring staff that are there to help you, and they offer personalized treatment tailored to your unique needs. They've got a perfect blend of cutting-edge technology, commitment to human kindness, with 20 hospitals and 240 clinics and care sites, all right here in Colorado. So whether you need a routine checkup, whether you're managing a chronic condition or responding to an emergency, you can trust Common Spirit to deliver exceptional care close to home. Make sure that you get out there and experience the difference compassion makes. Find a Common Spirit location near you. You'll discover a new standard of health and healing by visiting mountain.commonspirit.org. Common Spirit Health, the official healthcare partner of the Denver Broncos. Back into the Toyota Lounge for the DNVR Broncos podcast. All right. Running back or receiver, how do they compare with tight end?
Well, here's a take that's confusing.
Okay.
Even to myself, and it's my take.
Nope, it happens.
I think that wide receiver is the biggest need while simultaneously being the smallest need.
Okay, so that does make it tough to build a list.
Yes, but
unless we write it twice.
I'll try to explain this. Yep. And I think people that have been watching the show daily will understand what I'm trying to say. The Broncos need to upgrade at the wide receiver position. In my opinion, they need that really bad. It's the number one thing that I think they need. But the only way to upgrade at the position is by getting an elite player. And so it makes it incredibly difficult to do that. And it's not a need in the sense that you don't have enough good players. Whereas we'll look at some of these other needs and we'll find, okay, they such as linebacker, where it's like, this is actually a need because you don't even have enough players right now to play a game.
Right. Right. You're asking Jaleel and Tyler Bidet to carry half your workload.
Well, yeah, and that's running back too. So, I don't know how to feel about it. I don't know what to say about it other than if the opportunity comes to add an elite player, I think the Broncos should move mountains to do so. Otherwise, I actually don't think they should do anything at the position.
Interesting. Okay. No, I get it. I think
adding another just good player who's going to take snaps from other guys just doesn't even make sense to me.
Yeah. No, totally. My thing about receiver is, my thing about the Broncos as a whole is I think they were good enough to win the Super Bowl this year, And so to me, you start by doing as much as you can just to be as good as you were last year.
But it's a yearly arms race. Like if you just stand pat, you're going to get passed by someone else who, added more.
But yeah, maybe. I think receivers. It's watching the Chiefs win these Super Bowls that does it. Where it's like, there's Juju, your leading receiver in a Super Bowl or whatever. Yeah. And they have Kelsey in there, which does change things. But I just don't think, especially for the money, that receivers provide the benefit. Whereas, especially when you just look at where the Broncos are right now, the run game is right there to be the best in the NFL. Like you have that entire offensive line build. You have the run threat at quarterback that helps on top of that. You have Sean Payton, who's a genius scheming the run game. Like people forget about that part. Like all that he did with going all the way back to like Mark Ingram and Reggie, but like so many great running backs that he was able to produce. Totally. So I think if you were to say I could either have the best receiver in the NFL or the best running back in the NFL, and I was trying to win a Super Bowl last year, I take the best running back in the NFL every single time because I think that's just how the Broncos are set up to win.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that's fair. And I think that if the Broncos had the best running back in the NFL.
Which I don't even know who that is anymore.
Last year, Jonathan Taylor?
Yeah, it kind of like changes every year, which is kind of cool. 2 years ago, it was Derrick Henry.
And it was so obviously Saquon the year after.
Or no, yeah.
Saquon before that was Derrick Henry. Well, I guess they both had like 200.
It was Jonathan Taylor, Saquon, then Derrick Henry.
Yeah,
and rushing yards.
But those three have just kind of been alternating, and then like you throw in,
Gibbs for a while.
Right.
Yeah, Gibbs had a hell of a run. So yeah, I mean, if you were to put one of those players
Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase.
If you were to put one of those players on the Broncos last year, they win the Super Bowl.
They run for 1,800 yards minimum, and you're right there.
Yeah. So I'm with you on that.
Yeah.
I see more options to upgrade wide receiver at a really high level. Whereas like the running back position, I feel like, well, I don't know. I guess I see more options to upgrade the running back position because I think there's more room for upgrade.
With the weird
Whereas
part,
the wide receiver, it's like I only see one way to upgrade it is to bring in a dog.
Right. But the kicker to me is that
Bijan, great option.
That is a great option as well. So J.K. Dobbins to me is a better running back than Breece Hall or Kenneth Walker. And I don't think it's close. I think there is a gap between him and those guys with the caveat that he rarely is playing at the end of the season, which is when you need him the most. Yes. And so that's why so I don't know that there are like great options available at running back, like great, but there also obviously aren't for receiver, other than the fact that the receivers are the ones where there's the trade conversations. So in terms of like being able to trade for receiver, there's options. But yeah, I think
if Bijan Robinson all of a sudden becomes a topic of conversation for a trade,
all in.
Yes.
But nobody's talking about any of those guys. Nobody's talking about Jonathan Taylor being traded or Saquon being traded. Meanwhile, you've got like
George Pickens,
right?
AJ Brown,
right?
Tyreek Hill's on the market. Like there's a lot more wide receiver conversations out there to be had.
Yeah. And I guess we can talk more about somebody disagrees and says Breece Hall is better than J.K. Dobbins. J.K. was on pace for 1,300 yards.
Yep.
Like in terms of yards per game, only Clinton Portis and Terrell Davis have more as a Bronco. Breece Hall has 1,000 yard season in his career. Went for 1,065. Like there's a gap there. And again, like you're playing with the Jets and that hurts, but it also means that you get 243 freaking carries last year. So there's
in like, had you had this take in week 8? What was the week that JK got hurt?
10. I want to say 10. It might be 8.
Either way,
it was right after. It was 10 because it was just a few days after the trade deadline.
Yep. So if you had this take in week 9 or 8, no one would have disagreed.
No, because at the time it was consensus. Like he's top 3, but he's not. Jonathan Taylor at the time was like, well, he's the best running back in the NFL.
Yeah.
Right. But people just forget because it's been so long. But he was so productive. So offensive needs, those are kind of your big 3 in whatever order you want to put them. Receiver last to me, just because I watched 15 minutes of Troy Franklin highlights last night.
I love Troy Franklin. It's just
I think he is that type of like catch and run JSN guy. I think he is. I'm there. I think he
love that. I love that.
I'm there.
I want it to be so true.
He's a 1,000-yard receiver.
I want it to be so true, but 1,000 isn't doing it for me.
I know. I think he's 1,000 this year. And I think if he actually does, so the trajectory for Troy was he comes in as a 176 pound, 6'3" guy. Obvious limitations that come with that. The speed is useful, and so you're able to get him downfield. He's got like a little bit of shiftiness, but then in year 2, he came back with an extra, whatever it was, 10, 15 pounds. And in training camp, we're seeing him use that to body guys and make catches in the sideline. He's doing it in the preseason. So Marvin Mims in the playoff game, the Bills game, had that touchdown over the shoulder front pylon at the end. Troy Franklin in the preseason had like a very similar to the right sideline where he had to like maybe a little bit more go up and get it. But you were seeing a bunch of those kinds of plays from Troy where now you just need a little bit more in the middle of the field. And I think when they used him there, it worked pretty well. And there might be, I don't know whether it's a game plan problem or like a Bo Nix just doesn't want to throw their problem, but I think he's ready to do all that, especially if he adds another like 10 pounds, because then you're talking like real threat on the boundary.
Yeah.
It really scares you on those out routes, which just opens things up so much.
I want it to be true. I want it to be so true.
And I like the run after the catch, and I like the speed down the field to scare. Like I think he has potential to be special.
I just haven't seen flashes of dominance.
Okay.
I've seen flashes of big play.
Okay.
What I'm begging for is the Broncos to have a guy who just dominates a game.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he topped out. He had a couple games. So Colts, 8 catches, 89 yards, 6 catches, 89 against Dallas, 685 for Green Bay. But yeah, there's still no 150 in there.
Yeah, like that would be
even like 120. But
that would be considered like a bad game for George Pickens.
89 times 17. That'd be a 1,500 yard pace. He's never had that per game. But that is what that's close to what he does.
Yeah.
He almost does that.
Like, I think the Broncos held him to like 78, and we were like celebrating.
Could be. But yeah, I'm needs for offense. We've got receiver, tight end, running back in some order, and really no use for anybody else.
And by the way, like in my plan that involves an elite wide receiver one, Troy Franklin's still a big part of it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying trade Troy Franklin to get that.
I know.
Although.
No. The answer is no.
I already
trade.
said I'm not saying that.
Troy Franklin, Jalen Waddle straight up. If they were to do that, I'd say awful trade.
Yeah.
Again, like it's just the
Not
ceiling
Waddle.
is different.
Not Waddle.
Okay.
Again, I would want to add him to the mix.
Right. Defense. We've got 5 minutes. Defensive needs. So linebacker is the biggest because there's you need somebody
Right
who's
now,
going
you're
to start
starting
there.
Karen Reed.
And you could make a case that your third linebacker is also incredibly important considering Dre Greenlaw never really plays.
Yep.
And if the other guy's Alex Singleton, for example, he's 33 years old. And in the past 16 months has broken both thumbs, got cancer, and torn his ACL. So
That
again,
made me sad.
it is really sad. And again, it's why
And he's 33.
He's 99 toughness in Madden. Number 1 in the NFL. Nobody else has the 99 toughness in Madden. He's earned that one. But he's a 33-year-old.
Let me make this clear.
Yep.
I want Singleton back.
Me too.
He's a leader of the team. He is a stalwart of the community. He is a Mr. Bronco candidate. The price has to be right.
Yep.
I would not overpay for Alex Singleton.
I wouldn't overpay for anybody.
I would.
I know. George Pickens in particular.
I certainly would
You
overpay
give him
for
what?
him.
Yes.
I also wouldn't mind bringing back Justin Strnad. Now, I'm probably not bringing back both,
It's interesting.
but that room wasn't a problem for you.
No. I mean, you had the number 2 run defense in the NFL. And I think that's one of the things that people forget about linebackers is that the most important thing by a mile is that their job is to stop the run.
Yeah.
And the fun part after that is if they can also do fun things on third downs, cover guys.
Yeah,
And-
there's
but-
like 3 players in the NFL who can do it.
Exactly. And there's like a sliding scale because there's nobody in the NFL who you line up one-on-one with a tight end and say, we're going to win this matchup. And I think that that's like a myth that like there are linebackers out there who can cover tight ends. I mean, you got one of the guys who was supposed to be the best at in Dre Greenlaw and saw there is no linebacker who can line up one-on-one with a tight end who is 3 inches taller than him, who is faster than him. And also like those top end guys have those hands. There's some guys who like, if the Broncos are rolling Nate Adkins out there, whom I love, you can put Greenlaw on him and shut him down. But that's not really an asset.
Right.
Like that's not something you worry about. So I think that there's that myth there. And that's why I agree. Like Singleton makes a lot of sense. And people get upset because you never draft a linebacker. A lot of that, though, is that imagine what a rookie linebacker stepping in for Alex Singleton would look like.
The drop off is insane.
Like, there is so much. Like, everybody talks about, like, he gets the play call in and he makes the pre-snap adjustments. But there's just the speed of the game in the NFL with all the different things. Like, put yourself in Alex Singleton's shoes, like in that 2K5 NFL game where you're like in the helmet.
Oh yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah.
So like pre-snap,
That was so hard.
It was so freaking hard. It was really cool, but really hard. But so you get up there, you know what the defense is, you tell everybody the defense, you bump the defensive line over to get in the right gaps, whatever you do. Now you got a tight end in motion. And so as the tight end's going in motion, your gap shifts over. And then the ball is snapped. It's a run play. You don't know that, though. It could be a pass. And so your first responsibility is to see if the tight end or slot receiver is going to be breaking inside. So you got to have eyes over there. But at the snap, you've got a pulling guard coming back the other way, which moves your gap over one spot the other way. Guess what? One defensive lineman isn't able to fill their spot. So now you've got to be able to cover these 2 gaps. How are you going to time it up? By reading the running back so that you're keeping him out of the gap that you don't want him to go to so that he could go to your gap. Like,
Yes.
and all of that happens in 2 seconds.
Yep.
And so the idea that you can go get a guy who has
It has to be instinctual.
right. And
just feel it.
repetitive for so long. And so the idea that you could go get a guy, it's like, well, he runs a 4.42, so he's able to get there a little bit faster. There's so many things that play into that, again, you draft a linebacker this year, play him as your starter this year, CJ Allen, who I think is an awesome prospect, your run defense isn't going to be as good this year as it was last year.
Yeah.
It simply will not.
Think of
3 years from now, you could really benefit.
And if you run a 4.4 and you think 0.6 of a second slower, now
Right.
you run a 5.0.
Right. Right. And those people hate those guys.
Well, and Jose said like Carson Schwarzenegger did it for the Browns and he won Defensive Rookie of the Year.
Right.
Exactly. You have to get the Defensive Rookie of the Year
Right.
in the third round.
Yeah.
For that
Second round.
Second round.
I think it was like pick 34.
Okay. But you have to hit that well.
Right.
You know? And it doesn't mean you can't do it. I like the idea of Jacob Rodriguez coming to the Broncos and, you know, potentially being that guy. But I said this on the Buff Show yesterday because we were talking about linebacker play. I said, I think bad linebacker play is the fastest and easiest way to lose a game in the NFL.
Totally.
Or in football.
And that's why.
And so you just, and this is where the whole like linebacker position value thing comes, because you can get guys who just are in the right position, which is the most important thing. If you get guys who are out of position, you're going to lose.
Yep. Because that's a quick, it takes one mistake and there's a 40-yard run through your gap.
Case in point, Broncos, Browns, Thursday Night Football. Case Keenum starting at quarterback for the Browns. Dearness Johnson starting at running back for the Browns. Broncos had two big injuries. I think it was Singleton and Jewell.
Yeah.
Who were both out. You had to play guys who weren't prepared. They were out of position all night. Broncos got smacked.
Drew Sanders played against the Dolphins. That was his first game as a rookie. And it didn't go well.
Yeah.
You may remember.
So
but
that's where I come back to like,
Yep.
if you could tell me for a decent price, you could just run back this room.
Yep.
I'd say go ahead. I just think that both Singleton and Sternad are going to expect to start. So you're probably only getting one of them. And both of them are going to probably want some extra money. So which one would you rather have?
Singleton fits the role better. That's where I'm at. But I do think that essentially you save 3.8 plus 2.6. So 4.5, 6.5, save $6.5 million moving on from Dre Greenlaw.
Or for the combined money that you would spend for kind of some of this, you could have Devin Lloyd.
Right. Which is interesting. But yeah, I mean, you tell me you can save $6.5 million for Dre Greenlaw. I don't think Dre Greenlaw was any better than Justin Sternad last year, playing that exact same role. I think that
I didn't notice it.
Had Dre Greenlaw gotten to play more by the end of the season, he might have really popped. Like we probably didn't get his best last year, and his best it might still be better. I also think Sternad is probably still getting better. But I think that given the fact that Dre doesn't play, I'd be really tempted to roll it back with those two. We'll wrap it up though on the other side before we hit a top 100 list of free agents, which is interesting.
Few things you can guarantee for 5 years. You know, we're watching the Olympics right now. You can probably guarantee that every 4 years there's going to be Olympics.
Didn't the pandemic ruin one of them?
Can't even guarantee that.
There wasn't 4. It was
and that's
5.
4.
Yeah.
What about 5 year? A 5 year price guarantee. That's what Xfinity's offering right now. And I got to admit, it's a fantastic deal. Who knows where things could be in 5 years? It's kind of crazy to think about.
It is.
Considering where things were 5 years ago.
We could be doing the show from the moon.
We could be doing the show from the moon, but Xfinity would have to give us our Wi-Fi at the same price.
I bet they could do internet on the moon.
I bet they could. It's great stuff. They're fast, intelligent Wi-Fi. All of your devices working in perfect harmony. I have Xfinity internet in my house, and I absolutely love it. So take it from me. A lot can change in 5 years, but your price will not change with Xfinity. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities with Xfinity. Learn more at xfinity.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Select plans only. Restrictions apply.
Shout out to our friends over at Bet365, where hopefully made some money on Michaela Schifrin this morning, who now has the most golds of any American skier ever.
Hell yeah.
Pretty good.
From Colorado, if you didn't know.
From Colorado, like most skiers. Olympic skiers, I should say. There are a lot of people who ski other places. Also, the hockey, where I thought it was just a guarantee Canada was winning the gold this year, just because, I mean, they've got 7 guys who would be the best player on the American team, but 2-2 now in the third period, so we'll see. All sorts of good stuff. Baseball coming back with some spring training starting on Friday. NBA coming back. Hockey will be back when this is over. And breaking news from Bet365, new customers now get $200 in bonus bets when you bet $5. Win or lose, sign up, use the code DNVR365, deposit $10, place bet for $5, get $200 in bonus bets whether your bet wins or loses. Can use them on the spread, totals, player props, futures, or more. Whatever the moment, never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 or older and physically located in Colorado. Please gamble responsibly. If you or somebody who has a gambling problem and wants help, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Terms and conditions apply. Back in the Toyota Lounge for the DNVR Broncos podcast. Toyota chat's popping. The Cats fan in there can't even spell FTG, which is on brand. Good work, guys. But yeah, I think linebacker, I think you run it back in some form. I don't know what exactly it looks like, but maybe you pick two of those three. Maybe you get all three if the situation works out. But that would be my baseline plan. I think it makes sense, but I would also look to the future.
So, yeah.
I think you need a plan for the future.
I think you bring back two of the three. Mm-hmm. It's crazy to say because we didn't really talk about this, but like maybe Strnad Singleton is the best combo.
Especially when you factor in how much you trust the availability.
Totally.
That's the part that takes it over the top.
Exactly it. And then... But I would also be fine with Singleton Greenlaw. And then you invest with a draft pick mid-rounds that you hope to kind of take that torch.
Or if you really like CJ Allen, it can be first round.
Sure.
I think you have options. And we should say Drew Sanders still around. He'll be going into year 4. He hasn't gotten a lot of reps. The traits, they're first round traits.
Yeah.
I mean, when he slipped
traits.
When he slipped to the second round, there's a reason we're excited. I mean, you look through his high school stats, like you don't see that combination of sacks and picks and touchdown passes and touchdowns receptions and touchdown runs and like an all-time type of talent. It's just did he learn how to play football? Again, linebacker, the mental part's the most important, and that's why sometimes it makes more sense to just get the guy who has the proven mentals instead of the proven physicals. But you pair Sanders with some rookie and figure that's going to factor in next year. I think it makes sense, but that is a need. Defensive line, not necessarily a need, but now your second interior pass rusher is very much up for grabs. Savion Jones is probably the favorite for that.
Yeah.
Although Malcolm could steal it from him.
I would call Malcolm the favorite. Savion's got to take those snaps.
The tough part is Malcolm, if that's the case, then you're losing him as a run defender because you're shifting his workload toward the pass reps.
Well, I think you're just growing his workload.
Yeah. I mean, he already plays more than DJ does. Like he might already play more than JFM does, which is, there's probably room for some growth, but there isn't room for a lot. And you could do it. There is room for growth in Uwazurike's role, although he is out there a lot with DJ and Malcolm, and that's kind of base. So you're in kind of an interesting spot there.
I like this position that you're in because I think you have an opportunity to gamble a little bit.
Right.
You just say like, hey, like we really liked this guy coming out of the draft 4 years ago. It didn't work out for him. He's a free agent now. What does his life look like if he has a one-on-one matchup every time?
Totally. Like that is the conversation there. So it's weird need-wise, but it's my biggest want maybe for the right guy. Like again, I don't necessarily need like a mid-level, although it might make sense. So corner, you're good. Safety, you don't have PJ Locke. You could bring him back, but number 3 safety right now is Devin Key, JL Skinner. Haven't seen enough.
I'm not wholly uncomfortable with that. 5
years ago, I would have loved it, but with the Broncos being a really, really good team now with depth all over the place, it just feels like if that is the duo, it probably is like your weakest depth by the time the season starts.
Yeah.
But that's just because you're so good.
Yeah.
It's a luxury.
At the same time, you can go just find. I feel like you can just find someone out there.
And he plays special teams.
Yeah, exactly.
But
that's kind of what Devin Key is already, which is why I kind of trust him if I have to.
Right. It's the Ravens game that gets me. That's all it is when he played in that Ravens game, the Ravens football points.
That'll be
right.
2.5 years ago by the time next season starts.
I know. But I hold it against Drew Sanders too, and maybe it's time to
live and let live.
Move on. They've grown. Corner, you're set. Edge rusher's the last spot where, I mean, you already have Benito, Cooper, Jonah Ellis, Q Robinson. and then Dondre. And I think the one place you could look to upgrade is like if you really wanted like a bully run stuffer to upgrade over Dondre, you could. Certainly not a priority though.
No, and you can't really afford to spend more at the position.
Right. Spend somewhere else.
Yep.
Okay. We've gone through the needs. I just pulled up ESPN's top 100 free agents because I figured it's as good as any. Number one on the list is Trey Hendrickson. No interest there.
Yep.
Moving on to number two. I was on the other studio Wi-Fi. Let's see. There we go. Daniel Jones is right up there. George Pickens is right up there. Pickens 2. We've talked about him a lot. He's going back to the Cowboys. He's not really a free agent target. He'd be more of a trade target.
Yep.
Tyler Linderbaum is number 3. Center. Great center, but you just paid Luke Wattenberg. No interest. Number 4, Daniel Jones, quarterback, no interest. Number 5, Joan Phillips, edge, no interest. Number 6, Alec Pierce, receiver. And this could be the first guy who actually could fit.
People talk about him a lot. I've seen him as a big conversation on Broncos Twitter. He doesn't fit what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He doesn't upgrade a position so much where it's just like, oh, he pushes this person completely out. Like, he's just another good player that you would add to a room full of good players. And that doesn't move me, especially at the cost that you're going to have to pay. Right. Whereas there's going to be a team out there who doesn't like 4 receivers on their roster. Right. Who's going to say, like, well, we're willing to pay Alex Pierce.
We can just go buy 1,000 yards. Let's go do it.
Yes.
Yeah. Number 7, Breece Hall.
Yeah.
Again,
I'm about Breece Hall.
Yeah.
I think that we have not seen the best of Breece Hall. I think that we've seen potentially the floor for Breece Hall. And you put him on a good offense with a good offensive line and a great offensive mind, 2 great offensive minds in charge of it. I think you're going to see a potential MVP candidate in Breece Hall.
I'd be surprised. I mean, you see running backs go from bad offenses to good offenses and their numbers improve, but you never see them go from, like we kind of ran through the list, you never see him go from like 1,000-yard rusher to one of the best in the NFL. You know, we look through like the top 10 running backs in the league. Like Christian McCaffrey is up there, but he was also really good with the Panthers. Saquon was up there. He was also like a 1,400-yard rusher with the Giants.
Once.
Right, exactly. But at least he'd shown that upside. Whereas Breece has never, like, top was 1065, and that's after the 876 in 16 games, 994.
You also got to add in
games.
the 500 receiving yards.
True. Those help. But I don't. I'm an RJ Harvey believer. That's where I'm at. Where I think as a receiving back, assuming he can pass protect, he's going to be top 5 in receiving yards in the NFL every single year for running backs. And that's an opportunity to grow his role. And when he's taking the third downs and the obvious passing situations and you're drawing up pass plays for him, I'm in his partner. I'm looking more for somebody who can be as great as possible between the tackles, and anything else is kind of gravy. Because I think his receiving yards go down in Denver because you have RJ Harvey to do some of those things.
Potentially.
So, and I'm not against Breece Hall because he might just be the best option. I think he could be a Pro Bowler, but I think there's a long list of running backs who'd be a Pro Bowler in Denver. So I don't know that that $10 million a year for 4 years. I don't know. Okay. I'm not sold, but it might still be your best option.
A room of Breece Hall and RJ Harvey would be nasty.
Right? Yeah. It would be. Yeah. Rasheed Walker, number 8. Tackle, don't need it. Odafe Owe, number 9. Edge, don't need it. Braden Smith, tackle, 10. Don't need it. Number 11, JFM, defensive lineman. So if you're looking through here and say you want to make a splash in free agency, there are 2 guys in front of JFM who could make sense in Breece Hall and Alec Pierce, who we aren't in love with.
Well,
it's kind of crazy that it's your own guy who could be a bigger free agent signing than anybody you've got.
Yeah.
You bring in.
Yeah, for sure. Does that get you a comp pick?
I mean, it depends on if you cancel it out. Yeah. So if you first of all, if you sign more free agents than you lose, then you can't get one. But if you sign fewer free agents than you lose, then
The
it
money.
depends on if you sign somebody with a comparable deal.
Okay. Well, that's what I was just going to say, though, is you could almost get 2 Breece Halls for the price of 1 JFM. Not that you would get 2 Breece
Right.
Halls, but
It'd be Breece Hall and another $10 million a year player.
exactly.
Right.
Or another $7 million player, depending
Right.
on what the deal shakes out to be. And that's intriguing to me.
Yeah. And the tough part for me is JFM. Again, it's just if somebody offers him $20 million a year for 4 years, like I love the idea of bringing back JFM for 2026. It's just the commitment to it long term that would it would force you to keep this group together for a long time, which seems like it'd be a good thing, but you're only a couple years away from your salary cap crunch. And at that point you might be saying, we made a mistake. But again, JFM is a great player and is the key to so much of what you did defensively. So I would love to bring him back. Number 12, Alontae Taylor, cornerback. Don't need it. Number 13, Kenneth Walker, a linebacker. They say Walker's explosive traits create playmaking upside and cover ground as a run and hit defender. Diagnose the run game at a quicker rate in 2025. 11th in tackles on designed rushes per game in the NFL. 2.5 sacks, 8 tackles for loss, 4 pass breakups. I don't think I want to spend money there.
Yeah, no.
Like if he,
I'm shocked they have him higher than Devin Lloyd.
Yeah, it is interesting. I would have had Devin Lloyd higher as well.
Yep.
But again, like Devin Lloyd, the calling card is the 6 interceptions. You get hit in the chest a lot, and some guys don't hold on, so you give him credit to it. Alex dropped one this year.
He did bait Mahomes into that pick 6.
He did. That there were a couple really good ones, or a couple real, and he dropped in the right spots.
Yeah.
You give him credit. Interceptions historically very fluky though.
And even
and
more so for
you would think for a linebacker. Right.
Yeah.
Number 14, Reek Wallen, cornerback. Don't need him. He'd be an interesting fit across from Pat though. But that's not the show. The show isn't like, would it make sense to
would it be
get
fun?
a pick for Riley instead of losing him when somebody offers him $80 million over 4 years next offseason? Number 15, and this is, other than JFM, my favorite on the list so far.
I think that's when when Riley being profiled could benefit the Broncos.
It's possible. It's possible. 15, Mike Evans. I generally agree with you that I don't want to clog up the receiving room, but there is something to just like he gets 1,000 every year in a trustworthy way. Mike Evans tempts me.
How are you lining up?
What do you mean?
Where's Cortland going?
He's going wherever. I especially now that the receivers are a little bit more interchangeable. I think Mike Evans as an X might make more sense. For all the people who say Court's a number 2, like you're definitely stuck a little bit on the big bodies.
So you're kind of playing it like Court and Tim Patrick back in the day.
Right.
Where now Mike Evans is Court and Court is Tim Patrick. That's pretty nice.
It would be good. It would be good. Yeah. But like if it turns out to be like 1 year, $18 million, I'm not doing it. It's kind of like if he lingers around like Cooper Kupp style. It wouldn't quite be the Cooper Kupp level last year, but it would be along those lines. And it probably would be a decreased role for him. Because I mean, what did Cooper Kupp even do this year? For as much as like it would have been nice to have him, my memory is that he wasn't on the field all that much, but just made some big plays. He got 593 in the regular season.
Yeah.
Played 16 games. But they had him. He made a couple big plays in the playoffs and they needed him.
Yeah.
Mike Evans might be a step too good for that at this point.
Mike Evans is old.
33.
That's a scary part.
Yeah.
But he hasn't shown decline really other than he got hurt.
The thing is, he's no longer like a 1,500 yard guy.
No, so I guess he has declined from that. He hasn't declined below like really good players.
Exactly.
Though. And I think that if he was a Bronco, people would fall in love with him.
Yeah.
He's so reliable. He just mosses people. He's so fun for a quarterback to just be like, okay, I've always got this option.
Yep. And then you throw him in there for all, like, imagine being Troy Franklin and you now get to like ask Mike Evans questions all day.
I thought you were going to say you get a bubble screen and Mike Evans is in front of you.
Right. And it's Sean Payton who like, you tell him, do you want another 6'5" receiver? That's what he's all about. So I think the price would certainly have to be right. Like I'm not paying top dollar, but if the price were right, I think it could be really interesting.
Could you put him in the slot? Just
Oh, yeah.
Do
Yeah.
the Michael Thomas thing, big
Totally.
slot receiver, and just
Yeah.
have him run slants.
You can do whatever you want.
It's Mike Evans.
Yeah.
Yeah. Number 16, Jalen Watson corner, not interested. Number 17, Malik Willis quarterback. He was so sick, but you don't need him. Number 18,
I saw he had crazy stats on deep passes.
I believe it. Yeah.
It's like
I mean, he had that
13 of
one game that
16
was
or
just
something.
crazy. Travis Etienne is the number 18 on the list. He's a running back. Broncos need a running back. Again, though, I mean, if the Broncos go get Travis Etienne, I will not complain. At the same time, I'm more interested in your between the tackles guy
Yeah.
than the receiving back. And he had 1,100 rushing yards this year.
Wow.
He has 2 seasons with more rushing yards than Breece Hall's best, which is just kind of, including the 2022 Jags, which weren't this year's explosive Jags. But yeah, I want a bigger back. I want somebody who would hold up more in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. And I think it complements RJ more.
Right. Devin Lloyd is number 19. They say Lloyd's on the ball production increases his value heading into free agency. 5 interceptions on the season, returning 1 for a touchdown. Solid starter, flashed high level ability this season. I just don't think I'm willing to spend.
How much?
I would say he's getting 4 years, 18 per year. Maybe it's only 16, but
Yeah,
that's
going to price a lot of teams out.
I think linebackers in general just have too much bust potential. Like it feels like who's gotten big deals recently?
Roquan.
Right. Shaq Leonard fell off immediately. It just feels like there's a long list of all those guys who you give them all that money and they're just not quite worth it, or they fade quickly, or they don't fit your scheme, or it takes a while to learn. And Devin Lloyd would be a lot of fun. And especially like as a weapon, like there were conversations when he was coming out, like could he even be a better edge rusher than on ball or off ball linebacker. And the different things you could do with him would be really interesting. It just feels like too much of a luxury though, especially given that your run defense, I think would just be better if you have Alex.
Yeah, fair.
20 is Isaiah Likely, a tight end. They say should be viewed as a move tight end, of course. Gets favorable matchups in the passing game. If you have Evan Engram, you just don't need that. What you need is somebody who can take it. Like you're giving 40% of your snaps to your wide receiver tight end. You cannot afford to have another tight end who can't block. Like that's where you actually have a workload.
Totally. And Isaiah Likely maybe even more of a receiver than Evan Engram.
Right.
Like physically.
Right. Absolutely. Next up, number 21, Romeo Dobbs. Absolutely not.
Nope.
I go back to absolutely not. I think what the Broncos need in their 5th receiver is just some sort of insurance. Like if things really don't go well, here's a guy who you can throw out there and he's going to be fine. I'd be tempted if that guy was like Mike Evans and then you actually do play him more. And Romeo Dobbs fits that, where like he's coming off his best year, 724 yards, 6 touchdowns. Like he belongs as a wide receiver 3 somewhere. He's not an upgrade to me over any of your 3 receivers behind Court. And so no interest.
Okay. Yeah.
Unless he says like, yeah, I don't need a uniform on game days, which seems unlikely.
Also, Lil Jordan is a lot better.
He's
Right. At least Lil Jordan has like a unique skill set.
And
He's
Bo likes Lil Jordan.
He's getting paid wide receiver 2 money somewhere.
Yeah, it's true. 22, Khalil Mack and edge. Don't need it. 23, Kyle Pitts, tight end. It would be fun. You just don't. If you're Sean Payton, you're so tempted, but again, like you can't find a way to get Evan Engram on the field. How do you get Kyle Pitts on the field?
I don't know, but I can't say no.
I know. I feel you. I feel you.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Sean Payton, you're just like, okay, like we'll get rid of Evan Engram. Now we have Kyle Pitts.
Right. It's like, what about the money that wastes? What about it?
It's not mine.
Right.
A little sign and trade with the Falcons. Sign Kyle Pitts and trade him to the Broncos.
I don't think
That's not how sign and trades work, but yeah.
Do something. Just get rid of him.
Might as well just throw in Bijan while we're figuring this out.
First round pick.
I wouldn't say no.
And Bijan.
24, Kenneth Walker. Yeah, I'm more interested, I think, in Kenneth Walker than Breece Hall. Personally, it's a tough decision though. Going to be expensive. Probably just going back to the Seahawks anyway. And again, I think Dobbins is the better back. I don't know what to do here.
I think Kenneth Walker played the best football of his entire life in the playoffs.
I mean, that Super Bowl was the second most rushing yards he'd ever had in a game, and it was pretty close to number one.
And he just, but he looked different,
right?
And so, like, you might be actually getting him right before he becomes like a household superstar.
I think he has more upside than Breece Hall. I'll say that. I think he seems more likely to make that jump than me.
Breece is actually younger than him, which is crazy.
Yeah, 24 versus 25. Yeah, I mean, very much could be a Bronco.
If you gave me either one of those guys, I'd be really happy.
Me too. I nitpick right now, but then when it happens, I'll...
Also, like, we had kind of been talking like there's no way the Seahawks let him go, and it seems like there's been some reporting recently that he's not a top priority for them.
Yeah. We'll see. I think he's got to wind up back. And number 25 is Brian Cook. You're probably not willing to invest that much. Would be a good fit considering what the Broncos have at the position. If it's more than $6 million, I think that's what they paid PJ last year.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense for a third safety. Rashid Shaheed, number 26.
Oof.
I know you love speed.
I know. I can't. I have principles that I have to stand on, which is that we can't keep adding just good receivers.
The path.
But he was a lot better for the Seahawks than people thought when he was on the trade block.
It would have to be you also trade Marvin Mims. So Marvin Mims is on the books for $6 million this year and is off the books for next year. So if you were to try to tell me we're trading Marvin, we're signing Shaheed, who's going to cost more than that, obviously, but he now fits in as your returner. He's now like a speed guy. He's essentially, you're taking one of the three up and coming young guys and saying, one of them, we're just going to go get the solidified, fully formed version. We're losing a little bit of upside in the deal, but it might make sense this year. I could get behind that, but that's a lot of steps to find a guy.
What I was going to say is you're doing a lot
exactly
for a slight upgrade.
Just deal with it next year.
Yeah.
Figure out what you want next year. Caleb on Chason, number 27, edge. Number 28, Juwan Jennings, receiver, same category. Had 975, but
yeah,
meh.
He is. Yeah, no.
He's good. Here's a fun one. Number 29, running back, Javonte Williams.
He really fits what we wish we had at the end of the season.
I know.
A running back room of RJ, JK, and Javonte.
Yeah.
You could sell me on it.
You're right. You could sell me as well. Too crazy to believe. Boye Mafe.
Also, like, Sean kind of like threw him under the bus a bunch.
He did.
He's probably not coming back.
And it's a long list of those guys. Boye Mafe, Isaac Seumalo, Reed Blankenship. He probably isn't taking a third safety job.
But super nice guy.
Right? One of our guys.
Yes.
All city guy.
Yes.
Zion Johnson's a guard. Greg Newsome, Connor McGovern, David Edwards, Nashawn Wright, Joey Bosa, Chigo Conquo, receiving tight end, no interest. Wandale Robinson, number 40. We've passed our bar of interest. 41, Cam Curl, safety. Joel Bitonio, Cade Mays, Jaquan Brisker, Leo Chenal is a linebacker. Outside, has a little pass rush to him. Maybe those rotational uses combine. No, I don't think he makes sense.
I'm not fully against it.
Right. Like probably a pure 2-down linebacker. So if you had him, you'd keep Dre Greenlaw on the field for third downs. You'd probably want to find another linebacker for third downs.
Nah.
Weird fit. You'd have to jump through hoops. We're running out of time, but we'll get through the top 50.
Okay.
Rico Dowdle. Oh, we're going to overtime. Number 46, Rico Dowdle, running back. He could be the guy.
Good fit.
Yeah. Another one, 1,000 yards last year, 26 carries of 10 or more, explosive, 39 catches. It's starting to sink in that I'm going to be left wanting more from my running back when the season starts. Like I'm I really want to go get a star, but it does feel like this tier of like, yep, he's probably going to be 1,000-yard rusher, which a few years ago I would have killed for.
Yeah.
It seems like the most likely route.
Jeremiah Love, get you going.
It would get me going, but it's not going to happen. I need to.
So you're saying like they're not going to end up signing a guy of the caliber that you're hoping, or adding a guy of the caliber that you're hoping, which is
right. A top
superstar.
10. I want a guy who I can make a case that like this is one of the 10 best in the NFL. And Breece Hall, Kenneth Walker, I'm starting to wrap my mind around it, but it's just that Super Bowl. You can't read too much into one game. And I think J.K. Dobbins would be if he would stay healthy, but I can't. I'm still not making that bet.
So Ivan says all we need is a Harvey compliment, not a star. I disagree. I think Harvey is the compliment.
Yeah. And if you wind up with 2 stars, then all of a sudden you're a really good offense.
Yeah.
Like you're thinking about what Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara were, or what.
Exactly.
There's room for 2 really good running. There's room for 2 guys to get 1,000 yards in this offense.
Who came first, Kamara or Ingram was first, right?
Ingram was first.
So then they added Kamara, where people in wow, why am I blanking? New Orleans, saying like, why do we do this? We already have Ingram.
They don't have as many fans. So the conversations, first of all, it's a small market. College football fans on there. So I'm not sure that they are capable of the amount of outrage that Broncos fans show on a daily basis. Plus, like mid-round pick, I think is more acceptable. But I also...
we got to get through this top
We
50.
do. Nakobe Dean is a linebacker at 48. Intriguing. Alex Anzalone at 50, also a linebacker.
There's your plug and play, like, going to be in the right spot linebacker.
Yep. You just also have Alex
if you feel like you just want something different.
Like if for some reason you're like, we want to just ditch our captain and replace him with a guy who doesn't know the defense.
Yeah.
This is your guy.
That's great.
Even has the hair. 49, Kenneth Gainwell. Again, that's your RJ Harvey.
Yep.
So you don't need him. All right.
What's 50?
Anzalone. I skipped it because linebacker.
Okay.
Okay. Before we hit those, did you come away from this a little bit disappointed by the free agent class?
I think I always do.
Okay. Yep, me too.
Except for George Pickens is still on the list. So
he is
that's my
technically
guy.
on the list. And that's the thing about free agency. That's why I say you can't build through free agency, because if a guy is actually that good, the team is just paying him. Like you're not letting first team All-Pros walk. Even the 49ers at the worst of like they had to let Dre Greenlaw walk. They had to let Ufunga walk. But again, like that's about as bad as it gets in terms of letting people go in free agency, because you get to pay your top 3, 4, 5 guys.
Yeah.
2 questions. Is the no-lie zone going to return, RK? It has been what?
What?
Have you not posted? I'll let you do your thing.
We are definitely planning on having that return.
Okay.
We threw it out to the fans. It was really cool on the show, saying, write in the comments if you want to see season 2. And the response has been incredible. But yeah, it's in the plans. Just got to get the contract signed, just like the Broncos with,
Yep.
their free agents.
David Robinson with a super chat. I've been objectively watching running back highlights, and I actually really like Rico Dowdle more than I expected. I know you guys love Breece Hall, but have you seriously looked at Dowdle? Not since last year.
Dowdle was awesome.
I need to study up on Panthers Dowdle, because we went through this last year with Cowboys Dowdle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we liked him then.
Yeah. Also, yeah, a lot of questions, because like Panthers offensive line actually good in helping him, or did he carry him in the way that Breece Hall, who had similar numbers, carried the Jets offensive line?
Definitely.
Well, I guess that does it for today.
Good show.
Didn't really come to too many conclusions.
Conclusions are, we got 3 weeks to come to conclusions.
Right. I would love to be pounding the table for somebody right now, but I just can't do it. I'm going to keep pounding the table for JFM. That's where I came out.
All right.
I want a star free agent. JFM is a star free agent. That's going to do it
pounding the
today.
table for George Pickens.
Yep. You already had a pound a table guy. I need a pound a table guy.
Fair.
I'm no longer pounding the table for no JK. That's my other. I'm unpounding that table, pounding the JFM table. We'll be back with Zach tomorrow.
All right. God bless Bo Nix.
We all silly like the mayor.